On today's episode of SEO Lunch, Google turns 15. Also, Hummingbird is released. Find out how that affects your website. Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of SEO Lunch. I'm your host, Dan. And SEO Lunch is your weekly look at the latest in SEO, or search engine optimization, inbound marketing, content marketing, and the like. A lot of those things go kind of hand in hand. We take it and we apply it to your web design, particularly on the WordPress framework. As always, folks, if you like what you see, subscribe to us. Hit the big old red subscribe button on YouTube or go to slocumstudio.com/subscribe. What we're talking about today is a very, very big deal, actually, or potentially a big deal, depending on how you've been kind of modeling your website and your blog posts up to this point. If you've been following what we've been telling you with regards to honest, clear, potentially longer articles that answer questions and generally help people out, then today's episode won't be as big of a shock to your system. Basically what happened was, well, first of all, Google turned 15 a few days ago, which is pretty exciting. They celebrated. They had a little conference and they celebrated. They actually had an image kind of showing all of what was going on in their past and everything like that. That'll bring up on my computer in a little bit. We'll get there when we get there. But one of the most important things that they announced was Hummingbird, which is their long-awaited kind of sequel, or their long-awaited transition from one core algorithm update, which was caffeine, to the new one. So basically, they're changing the whole way that Google indexes, the way that Google searches for things when you go to Google and you type something in. Where caffeine, which was out in 2010 and has just now been replaced, so it's been 3 years of caffeine, where caffeine was more about the speed of your website load, about indexing and link building and things like that, Hummingbird basically takes all that and throws it out of the window in replace of what they call sort of like this knowledge chart, this knowledge graph. What this basically does is it basically takes the focus completely away from link building, completely away from me going onto my Google Analytics account and saying, what are people searching for? Why are they finding my website? And also from Google's search engine results page from finding things like that. And focusing more on, knowledge or answering questions that people may have. The one big thing that comes out of this is the not provided has gone up, and organic search has gone up quite a bit. Where when it was first kind of released, it was hitting about 40 to 50% of all websites, or 40 to 50% of all searches, I should say, And it was saying, when I check my Google Analytics and it says, 50% of people that hit your site, you have no idea what they looked for. Now it's getting close to 100%. I actually checked my website today. It was up to about 93%. I have no idea what people were saying. The rest of it was honestly seemed like kind of spammier searches. So it's pretty rough and it's hitting hard. It's no longer a valid option to, say, okay, these people are searching for this specific thing. Now I'm going to sort of, put on my black hat and tailor this search to those needs, even if it's a little bit spammy. So what does this do? How does this affect what's going on? Well, Google is placing more of a role or more of an emphasis on longer conversational pieces. And this breaks down in a couple of different ways. The one thing is with like question-based titles. For example, I'm going and I'm looking for, I don't know, what the best pizza sauce is, right? When I go to Google, I'm not going to write pizza sauce. That might have made sense like years ago, right? But now we're getting more conversational with our searches, more human with them. So if I can direct your attention here, if I'm writing a post on my WordPress site for something like of that nature, before I could maybe make an article called pizza sauce. Wow, I got that done early. I get one mistype an episode, so that's not good. But there's pizza sauce, right? Now, what would be a better title is for this article would be, what is the best pizza sauce? And because I'm a grammar Nazi here, I'm going to change that. Question mark. So what is the best pizza sauce is actually going to be a better sort of title for my article going forward, as well as if I'm creating a header, if I have some text here and I get to the next heading or whatever it may be, I might write How can I make the best possible pizza sauce? Or how you can make the best possible pizza sauce. This kind of forms it in the phrase it in the form of a question, or with those. This is how, but the who, what, when, where, whys of conversation, and that's really important. And the reason it's important is mobile search. Google recently overhauled the way their mobile search platform works in an attempt to sort of get at that Siri traffic with the iPhones. And also just to make it an easier search for you. So if I'm driving down the road and I have my phone out and I'm basically saying, I'm hungry, right? That's very conversational. It's not at all searchy, But what Google's doing is it's changing it so that is now searchy. So if I say I'm hungry, Google can find out that that's a conversation piece for where are the closest restaurants. And it can bring up GPS searches or things like that. Very similar to what a Siri would do. Which is just fantastic. But it also means that you're going to want to tailor your web design and your titling and your blog posting to things like that nature. Because now we have the iPhones doing this with Siri. Now we have Google doing this. So web search in general is now greatly affected. As we go more and more towards the mobile platform, that's what you want to sort of rely on, and that's what you want to work towards. So these kind of question-based things, and if you look back on the screen with the permalink, maybe I change it to what is best pizza sauce, for example. Might be good as well in your SEO needs going further. Makes it just easier and better, and Google can find that. And also, of course, I have this really short article. It's been found, even now more specifically, that having longer content is going to be sort of the way of the future. But I would also say that updating existing content is also a really, really good practice. I really get frustrated sometimes when I go to a blog post and it's really out of date for what's going on, especially working with WordPress, when you go for plugin support and the images they use and sort of the conversation that they use inside of the article is very much old school, like an older WordPress from 5 years ago, or not 5 years ago, but a couple of years ago. That's where it sort of gets a little bit hazy, and I sort of get a little frustrated. So updating your stuff so that when people do find your website, if you're doing the right things, people are going to find your website. It is going to be the website people want to read. The bounce rate goes down. People explore your website, and conversions go up. So I think that's really important. And now I'm going to bring up a picture here that I just took, which is the Google search timeline here. I just found this out, or just saw this recently in my search here. And this kind of goes through their 15-year history, and it's pretty cool to go back and look at, images or AdWords. But looking at the right here, which is the most important thing, image searches and things like that are really cool. Understanding things like that, like the Eiffel Tower is a commonly used analogy here. But there's the knowledge graph where we're going away from speed and going towards this database that Google has that knows that, in the case of pizza sauce, a pizza sauce is some tomato in it and different ingredients like that. And helping it so that when you go for that, you can compare tomato sauces right on Google's webpage without clicking on a link and things like that. So it's going to be very important going into the future. As always, folks, I thank you for listening. If you guys have any questions about what you saw in today's show, feel free to ask below. We have a new forum out, actually. It's slocumstudio.com/ask or /forums. We'll take you there, and you'll be able to get in a conversation with us. Maybe there's something you didn't like about what I said. Maybe there's a comment you have about Hummingbird or caffeine that you want to talk about as well. I'd be glad to hear to talk to you a little bit about it. Maybe other people would as well. Thanks a lot, guys.